I keep speaking about land use and form, so let me tell you why I do that. They are very different. Often zoning codes sort of lump them together. Form and land use are totally different. Form is what you see. When you walk down the street and you see a building facade or a lamp or a tree, this is the form. This is the physical outcome of your city. Land use is, I like to say, is activity. It's what's going on inside of a building shell. Whether, if you're selling shoes, it's retail, right? If you're lying in a bed and doing your dishes, it's residential. But it's what's going on inside of the shell of the building. Now, you see these two buildings? These are actually both in Alameda. They're both in the same zoning district, the CC district, right? The forms are totally different. The land uses are the same. They were approved under the same policies, okay? But this one, right, supports pedestrian activity. You want to walk past it. It's got shop fronts up by the street where people can see what's going on. And this one is set back from the street and has parking out front and it's a single-story building with very little architectural design built into it. They were approved under the same policies. The forms are different. The land use is the same. These are both duplexes in a downtown environment, okay? This one, the form-based elements, the code says you shall have a stoop located 24 feet from the sidewalk. I think it's like a 6-foot encroachment. This one didn't say anything like that, so the developer said we'll just put our garage doors out there. Okay, these are both parking structures. Okay, they are approved under the same land use policies. Right, this one's in Walnut Creek. I don't know where that is. I think I shot that photo, but I don't know where it is. These are both office buildings. This is Colusa City. Now, they're both great. They're both two-story, right? We like them both. But one of them belongs in the downtown, and one of them does not because it's auto-oriented. Okay, so it doesn't encourage pedestrian activity, and it doesn't support the guy next door because people drive in, they do their business, they get back in the car, and they split. Okay. Very, very briefly now, not to get into too much detail. So the conventional zoning, the land use-based zoning, whether it's mixed use or not, it is land use priority zoning. There's a lot of emphasis on the use, right? Very firm, and very little to say about form. That's sort of how Colusa is currently structured, and 95% of the cities in the country are. And what can happen is, it's sort of hit or miss relationship to the street. This is Colusa, right? It's hit or miss relationship to the public realm. You don't necessarily have a lot of control. Even the building types are totally different. They're right next door to each other. This person wasn't very psyched when that went in, right, from a building standpoint, right? And the other thing it does from an economic standpoint is it is totally inflexible. Here is a piece of commercially zoned land. I believe this is on Route 4, or the old state Route 4 in Brentwood. Now, believe me, if they could, they would build this and this. There was a demand for both when we were there. Okay, there was a demand for mixed use and there was a demand for office, but it was zoned commercial. So this sat, and it still sits. Because there's inflexibility to the land use paradigm that just didn't allow for a wider range of new investment. Now you flip it and you prioritize the form, meaning what do we want it to look like, right? How should it address the street? And you give a much more flexibility to land use. And we think that you can do two things. One, you can control the physical outcome, which gives the developers certainty. And the second thing it does is it allows the market to operate. Right? If there's a demand for shoe stores, they can come in. If there's a demand for internet cafe, which probably isn't in your zoning code because nobody's even thought of that until 10 years ago, it's approved under an intent statement. So we want to give as much flexibility to the marketplace as we can. We want the economics to be able to change and downtown to remain vital. But we want to ensure that we have a physical outcome that is in accordance with the city's historic small town character.